Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. Happy summer solstice, family. I hope you're all having an incredible week so far. So it's been a full week since the last Federal Reserve FOMC meeting, and the market's response to that event is settling in as we speak. But of course, that is the exoteric bread and circus they try to feed us, and here we focus on the esoteric to decode and expose what's really happening in these markets, while staying calm and composed along the way, leaving the emotion on the sidelines so that we can respond to these markets while most investors are caught up in reacting to distractions. So I have a lot to get into in today's video, especially if you're invested in XRP. I found a gem over the weekend when I was filming my newest Red Pill podcast that came up accidentally while I was analyzing the XRP chart, and I can't wait to share that with you all today. So you'll definitely want to stick around to the end of today's video. And speaking of gems, shout out to my Patreon supporters over in my Mastermind community, and I appreciate those who just joined over the past couple weeks that were interested in my 2023 NBA Finals Decoded that came to fruition with my pick of the Denver Nuggets winning the championship. And over this weekend, I actually utilized the NBA Finals results to apply to a decode I presented in my newest podcast. So here you can see that we're instantly putting this data to work to see how these big events on the world stage are all synchronized and how they tell a story of what's to come next, especially regarding finances, markets, and the economy as a whole. It's all tied together. And here we're exposing these connections to be prepared and positioned effectively for what's to come. And in my latest podcast, I also recapped the recent price action for HEX since my call of anticipating a buyback on EHEX into 1 cent came to fruition. So back-to-back podcasts reviewing the HEX chart with some serious accuracy, and again, appreciate those in the HEX community that have been showing love and have joined the Patreon recently. I greatly appreciate all your support. So if you want more exclusive updates and access to my weekly crypto podcast, that's available at patreon.com/watersabove for the Mastermind community membership. And since I've been getting asked a lot about my courses, just a reminder, all of my Patreon supporters get the biggest discount available on my educational courses, teaching my strategies to build a portfolio, develop your own investment thesis, to be able to read the charts and do technical analysis on your own, and then even be able to determine when to sell your investments effectively with my exit strategy blueprint that's actually included with my crypto mastermind course for free. And you'll be able to find the link and more information in the description of this video or in the pinned comment below. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So let's just get this out of the way. But before I get into it, I want to let you know that we are not focusing our energy onto just one individual here. This decode I'm about to present will tie everything together, and then you'll be able to actually make sense of what's happening and why it happens exactly when it happens. This will give you more clarity of why these rituals happen to certain individuals at specific times. And by the end of this presentation, it should all make more sense to you and reveal how scripted it really is. So when this news broke yesterday, so many people started reaching out, asking me about my thoughts on this Andrew Tate character. He was just charged, indicted, and will be on trial soon, facing up to 20 years in a Romanian jail. I've been vocal about this character in the past in responses to questions I've received about him during my weekly live streams. To make a long story short, I have spoken about his downfall being ritualized in connection to the Chinese zodiac. So let me break this down. He was born in 1986. You could see that right there. And that is the year of the tiger in the Chinese zodiac. And Andrew Tate's most controversial and arguably the most important year of his so-called career was in 2022, also the year of the tiger. And you could see that right there just by checking out Year of the Water Tiger, February 1st, 2022 through January 21st of 2023. And as some of you might remember, he was also arrested at the end of 2022 in December 29th. And if you connect that date of December 29th to the last day of the year of the tiger, which was January 21st, let me show you that really quickly. January 21st of 2023, and this 29th of December of 2022, it's exactly 23 days apart. And why this is so important is it ties perfectly to this year being the year of 2023, the 23, and we're in the Hebrew year of 5,783. 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 23. And during the year of the tiger in 2022, if you followed along this channel, you know that I always brought up the number 15 during that year because the Gematria of tiger is 15. You could see that right there in Chaldean. So now that we have this foundation laid out, yesterday, the day that he was charged, June 20th, and let me show you that right here, by going to June 20th of 2023, and you can see that it was a 15 standard date numerology, just like tiger equals 15 in Chaldean. Let me adjust this really quickly to make it look a little cleaner for everyone. And this is so crucial to keep in mind because he was born in a tiger year, so this symbolism is really effective for him specifically. So this number 15 actually has been in my coding system for a while now, over the past year, and anything tied to this code has been unlucky, especially for those who were born in the tiger year, which Andrew Tate is, or anything that is directly connected to tiger symbolism. And how this number 15 has continued to be used for the rituals, here's a prime example of that. For those that are interested specifically in cryptocurrency and want to know more about what I'm talking about right now, you can see that XRP equals 15. And you all know how 2022 went for Ripple and XRP. And we have Hex equaling 15 in Chaldean. Remember Hex losing about 95% of its overall value during the year of the tiger. We also have Luna giving you this 15, all in the same cipher, by the way. Terra Luna essentially went to 0 during the year of the tiger. And there's plenty more examples if you follow my work during the year of 2022. One moment. So also note how yesterday also was a 69 date numerology. And this is another important number that's been ritualized often over the past couple of years. When Bitcoin, if you think about Bitcoin specifically, its all-time high is 69,000. The day that Silicon Valley Bank failed was on March 10th, which was the 69th day of the year. And if you take from March 10th to yesterday, which was the 20th of June, it's going to give you 102 days. Again, this is tied to the solstice, and that is today. And you can see solstice gives you 102 in Gematria, 102 from the days connected to March 10th, the day Silicon Valley Bank failed. And you could see 69 connecting right here to 69. This 102 is really powerful. So remember event 201 told you everything about the C-19 pandemic. And if you don't know, well, should educate yourself on that because it's very, very helpful. It allows you to see how the so-called New World Order or apex predator shows you exactly what they're going to do to you before they actually do it. They're not hiding anything. It's right there in plain sight. So getting back to this ritual of the solstice and how today is the 21st, again, we had that 1-2, 102, you remove the 0 in the rules of numerology, that brings you to 12. The mirror of 12 is 21. You see where I'm going with this. So let's get you back on track with this. These charges and legal shenanigans with Andrew Tate all going down in Bucharest, Romania. So I want you to think about this 69 connection that we were talking about before. And we have right over here. Let me just copy and paste this because I think it will make it a little bit faster for our decode. But you can see that Bucharest, Romania giving you 69 in full reduction. Speaking of other rituals tied to the 69 and the mirror of that number, which is 96, the Queen of England allegedly died at 96 years old. That's the mirror of 69. This ritual also happened during the year of the tiger. So Andrew Tate's full name, you're going to see how it's tied to this word tiger. Emery Andrew Tate III, you have the 59 in Chaldean, just like Tiger gives you 59 in English ordinal. Not in the same cipher, but still showing you how this is all tied in. So to go a little deeper into this code, This number 59 is actually the 17th prime number. You can see that right there. And this is where it's going to get a little bit more advanced in the decoding. And you could see that yesterday, the day these charges hit was the 171st day of the year. That's the palindrome of the number 17. It's 17 forwards and backwards. So it's important to take notes of these nuances if you're newer to decoding, or it's just a healthy reminder for seasoned decoders. So as I was saying, 17, the mirror is 71, just like Romania is going to be 71. You could see that right there in English ordinal. And remember, we were talking about before about 102 and 201. You remove the 0, that's 21. That's tied right back to Saturn. And this is very crucial because during that year of 2021 to 2022, specifically the year of the tiger, was the Shemitah year, which is the year of Saturn, the sabbatical year. It's all tied in, all right? So thinking about this 71 code that I was just showing you before with Romania, that's 71, and how tomorrow is actually going to be a 71 date numerology. So June 22nd, you have that 71 in the mirror of that 17. It's definitely powerful and something to consider. So anyways, this guy, Andrew Tate, is done. He got all of his prana in the year of the water tiger. I'm going to show you that by the code, giving you the 33 in Chaldean number of transmutation. And this 33 ties perfectly to his name, Emery Tate, giving you this 33. He is finished. Another one bites the dust. He was ritualized on his 36th year, like Emery Tate the third equals 36 in Chaldean, before turning 37 years old, just like Andrew Tate equals 37 in Chaldean. This is his most common name that he goes by, and he was ritualized this year again in the year of the rabbit. Now, if you go even deeper into this, this was 2 days and 23 weeks from his next birthday. That's the 223, and we are currently in the 223 year. That's the mirror of the 322, skull and bones. And let me just show you how this is a skull and crossbones ritual, 223. This is Saturnian. This is tied to Saturn. Saturn is the Grim Reaper. That skull and crossbones symbolism is Saturnian. So theoretically, perhaps this individual only lives till he's 37. Sadly, we have Andrew Tate giving you this 37 right there. Could very well be it. Who knows? Suicided? I'm not sure. I'm not going to, this is just a decode. We're having fun. But it would be interesting, especially because October 25th is 37 days before his 37th birthday. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a key date for him. A couple other things to mention. Emery Tate the third, giving you 149 English ordinal. And if you take from yesterday, which was the day of these charges dropping, to 1/22 of 2023, which was officially the Chinese New Year, it's exactly 149 days. And it's all coded into his name. As I said, this guy is ritualized by the Chinese zodiac, so there's another key example. You can't make this up. Now, we'll go even deeper. If you didn't think we could, we're gonna. Andrew Tate was born in 1986. We were bringing that up a little bit earlier in the intro of this decode. And that was the year of the tiger. And during that year, Argentina won the World Cup in 1986. And this is really fascinating how this is all tied in, because when they won that World Cup, their team captain was Diego Maradona, and he was wearing the number 10. Then the next time that Argentina won a World Cup was last year, also a year of the tiger, with their team captain being Lionel Messi, who also wore number 10. Both Andrew Tate and Lionel Messi were 35 years old when Argentina won this recent World Cup. And if you think about the 35, you could see that right there. When you think about the 35, that is esoterically 3 5s. That's 5, 5, 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. Just like tiger equals 15. The year Argentina won the World Cup, and the year Andrew Tate was born. And if your mind isn't blown enough, let's keep going. Diego Maradona, who won the World Cup for Argentina, was born in 1960. That was the year of the rat. Now, King Charles III, the current King of England, was born in 1948, also during the year of the rat. Now, he's also replacing Queen Elizabeth after her Platinum Jubilee during the same year Argentina won the World Cup. Now, LeBron James was also born in the year of the rat. The first championship he won was in 2012 during the year of the rat when he played for the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat just lost the 2023 NBA Finals, and how LeBron's team, the Los Angeles Lakers, were swept by the Denver Nuggets 4-0 in the conference finals, and then they went on to win the championship. And during the last year of the rat in 2020, this was the last NBA championship that LeBron James won. And guess what? His team beat the Denver Nuggets in the conference finals and then went on to win the NBA Finals against the Miami Heat, who just lost the NBA Finals this year. You see how coded together and how scripted this all is? One event cancels out the other energetically. It's a huge puzzle, and we're here piecing it together. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, because this is some mind-blowing information. It shows you how scripted this all is. Now, to revisit my 2023 NBA Finals decoded for a moment, similarly to this Andrew Tate example, I mentioned how LeBron James's career will start to fizzle out, and now there will be a new player who gets all the prana, who gets all the attention. And my assumption is that it will be Nikola Jokic. Let me break this down. Nikola Jokic also wore the number 15. We spoke about Tiger equaling 15, just like the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs who won the last Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, also wears the number 15. Note that we're not in the year of the Tiger anymore. We're now in the year of the rabbit. And although these 15s were negative during the Tiger year, and for anything directly connected to Tiger's symbolism, during this year it's not the case. So just keep that in mind, that not all 15 connections this year will be a negative aspect. You need to consider the rest of the decoding system that I'm breaking down here today. So to build on my theory, now it's becoming so obvious to me that they are in the process of ritualizing the Balkan countries. It all just clicked. Let me break this down. Nikola Jokic is considered to be the best basketball player right now. He's from Serbia. Think about this. Novak Djokovic is considered to be the best tennis player. He's also from Serbia. He's 36 years old, just like Andrew Tate, who resides and was arrested in Romania. Novak has won 23 Grand Slams, and of course his professional career started in 2003. You remove the zeros with the rules of numerology and you have 23. This Hebrew year that we're in right now, 5783, adds up to 23. This is also what I'm calling the year of the Jubilee, equals 23. Andrew Tate gets arrested 23 days before the end of the Tiger year, which is his Chinese zodiac sign. Now, going back to the NBA, Nikola Jokic, his nickname is the Joker. Joker equals 23. And all of this happening now on the world stage, it's obviously all tied together through the bread and circus of sports and entertainment. Could this mean that a big event will happen in the Balkan Peninsula soon? Perhaps, since Ukraine has been the talk of the town for the past year, and essentially Ukraine is just north of Romania, this could be a sign. To build up drama surrounding these athletes and entertainers is a classic look here, don't look there distraction, while the apex predator prepares for their next chess move. Just something to consider. And I'm not here to spread fear, I'm just decoding. I definitely think I'm onto something though with this decode. And for my wolves over in that part of the realm, I know I have a following over in Romania, Slovenia, Turkey, Greece. Just know I have lots of love for all of y'all. We're not playing the game of pride over here with this work. We're just removing our emotions from this and decoding without a bias to stay on top of what's to come. And ultimately know that we're protected in the process. No fear, no drama at all. Just sharing my gnosis here with all of you. So I hope you enjoyed this decode and ultimately can now utilize this decoding system so you can strengthen your decodes. It's how I was able to determine the Denver Nuggets would win the NBA Finals, Argentina winning the recent World Cup, and the past 2 Super Bowls before the events happened. And we're getting more dialed in month after month with this work. I've received such amazing feedback from those decodes from my Patreon supporters, and I appreciate your support. But more importantly, it means so much to me to see our community become better decoders. So moving on, as I mentioned earlier, today is the solstice, June 21st in tropical system. So if it's sunny out there wherever you are, make sure to get outside and spend some time with Mother Nature after you're done watching this new Waters Above video, of course. But jokes aside, today had significance connecting to March 10th, the day Silicon Valley Bank died, which I did bring up, failed that I brought up earlier. But anywho, let me just show you that by the code really quickly. We have this connection to today by 103 days. Now, this 103 shows up in Mercury. I'm glad I said Silicon Valley Bank died because that's funnier. But anywho, 103 days connected to all of this, and you can see Mercury equals 103. Mercury, of course, tied to fiat money or money created out of thin air, which is crypto and stocks. Of course, we're talking about the mythology here. And today is, of course, a Wednesday, which is miércoles, which is the day of Mercury. So it's perfectly tied in. And today is also tied to the last day of Jubilee. If you go to September 17th, you're going to see what I mean, by 88 days. Now, this 88 double analemma, the movement of the sun and the moon, this 88 could also be perceived as 2 8s or 28. And Bitcoin actually traded through 28K today. It's pretty much getting to 30K as we make this video. We might actually hit 30K. So an incredible buyback. But let's get to this XRP gem that I discovered during my last decode I shared in my most recent Red Pill podcast. We kept having this number 68 showing up over and over again, and I can't wait to break this down for you. So, of course, moments ago, I was speaking about Mercury by the code, and Mercury is also known as Hermes, and you could see Hermes gives you that number 68. Stock equals 68. Market equals 68. Moneta equals 68. And this is where we get the word money from. It's also tied to the word from moon. But anyways, now when I was analyzing the XRP chart, I was reviewing this important moving average cross, which is not so common and a little bit more advanced, but let me break it down for you. It was on the XRP 2-day chart. And now I'm going to turn off all these indicators. I should probably go to this chart right here and make it a little bit cleaner for you guys. I'm going to hide all these drawings, and I'm going to show you right here this very important cross that we got. So the last time that this cross happened between the 55 simple moving average, which is this white line, and the 200 simple moving average, which is this dark green line, it was all the way back here on this 2-day chart for XRP, and it's right around September 17th of 2020, right there. So you guys probably remember this spike and this huge dump. This had to do with the Flare airdrop, and then this big dump had to do with the Ripple SEC lawsuit. So this cross, the last time it happened, where the 55 simple moving average crossed above the 200 simple moving average, was over 1,000 days ago, almost 3 years ago. And the most recent iteration of this cross was actually at the start of this May, just over a month and a half ago. Quite recent. Now, if you take from the last cross on September 17th, 2020, over to the next peak, you're going to see where the 68 code comes up again. So here we are, we're going over to this moment right here, and you could see 68 days. So from that cross over to this big candle wick to the upside, when we got about a 78 cent or so XRP, that was a 68-day time span. So this is what started me getting more curious about this number 68 tied to XRP, and it just pretty much started to blow my mind as I was doing this. So naturally, with multiple connections to this one number, I was sharing earlier in that decode, I was already, having my mind blown. But since then, I found another absolute gem. And if you take from the last time that this cross happened to the downside, which was right here around February 2022, you're going to see the 55 simple moving average crossing below the 200 simple moving average. Now, look at how this all goes. If you go over from this moment over 68 days, you're going to see that this cross into here, 68 days later, was April 25th, 2022 on the 2-day candles. And this was the last day that XRP traded at 66 cents since. We have not had XRP trading at 68 cents since that day. And this is measuring off that cross. 68 days, and that was the last time XRP traded at 68 cents. How insane is that? So not only are the days matching the code, but the price is too. So this made me want to go back to the initial cross back on September 17th of 2020, this one that we were talking about a little bit ago. And if you take over to this day right here, you can see that we actually traded into 68 cents on this day and then did not trade into 68 cents for quite a while after that. But what's amazing is if you move backwards from this peak right here, the last time we traded at 68 cents was 2 years before that. So another insane connection. So anyways, what I did in my last Red Pill podcast was I took off this cross and then I started to go 68 days out into the future, and it brings us somewhere between July 6th and July 10th. Now, July 6th specifically has the 7-6 code. Let me just show you right here. July being the 7th month in the Gregorian system, and you have that 6 right there, that's 7-6, and that ties back to Ripple with 7-6. And also you have this 27, that 27 connects back to Jupiter with the 27 right there, and you could see that this day of 7-6 lands on a Thursday, which is Thor's Day, which is the day of Jupiter. And if we connect this date to the 68th day of the year, which is March 9th, you'll see that it is 119 days apart, the mirror of 9/11. So thought that was pretty interesting. And how also July 6th is the 187th day of the year, 187 considered the murder code. And remember, Rosh Hashanah this year, which is the 16th of September, 9/16/2023, has a 68 date numerology. So perhaps that's the big reason why it has this significance. And the fact that these two dates are 72 days apart in Bitcoin and just basic Gematria equals 72, it definitely shows that there's a big importance to this date of the 6th of July, which is coming up very soon. So I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2020, right after the start of the C19 scam on July 4th, remember 4th of July is the United States Independence Day, which was allegedly in the year 1776. That's what they tell us in his story. But back a couple of years ago in 2020, right after the start of the C19 scam, XRP was trading at 17 cents, but exactly at 0.1776 cents on the 4th of July. Silver, precious metals, ended the trading week at a spot price right around $17.76 US dollars per ounce, and gold at 1,776 US dollars per ounce. One of the most obvious moments of the code being flexed in front of our faces, tied to the 1776 year, United States independence, and all three of these prices aligning on that date. Right after the entire world gets shut down and all of these so-called freedoms and liberties are stripped away. Classic flex by the apex predator. So you've probably heard how everything works in threes. Well, here we are with a code setting us up for the same time frame 3 years later. What's important to be aware of was during that time frame, it was right after the start of the C19 event, and now it's been over a year since the PSYOP has come and gone for most of the world. So we are in a very different environment, especially regarding these markets. But as I've said several times, I see there being one last push up for this market, and we did see a major move to the upside for the stock market, for the major indices. And now we are starting to see Bitcoin pushing up above 29K into almost 30K as we're filming this. We actually did officially hit 30K as of today. So this is definitely a sign of strength, and this looks very much like the recovery off of this bigger correction into March 10th, which was the day Silicon Valley Bank failed. Very, very similar setup, and if we were to break to the upside, that 31K level, that would be pretty much an identical expectation for what's happening next. We're going to be getting into that in a moment, but this definitely looks like a sign of strength for me, the fact that we've had a 20% buyback in just a couple days. So this is a perfect time to jump into the charts and discuss what I'm seeing in the price action of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP for this setup into the last couple weeks of June. But before we get into the TA, go ahead and give this video a like. And if you haven't already, definitely comment something in the comment section, spread some love. That's what we're all about here. Now, I actually want to start with this Bitcoin CME chart on the daily, and we're going to be turning off all these indicators and just looking at the candles, and we're going to see that there is a gap actually between this level here of 34,445 and 35,200. We already filled this gap here, so on video I'm going to go ahead and delete that just while we're filming. And you could definitely see we do have a downside gap somewhere around 20,000, 21,000. Again, I've talked about this idea of an automatic rally and how we confirm an automatic rally once we get above the 382, but it's very typical that in an automatic rally, you clear the 0.5 fib and you make it at least halfway between the 0.5 and the 618. And in some instances, especially for crypto, you make it to the 702 fib. What we saw recently with the indices was a lot of them making it into the 702 fib. We could see right here with the Dow Jones, we got the 702 fib is what we're trading at right now. We have the S&P trading at the 702 right now, and then we have the Nasdaq getting all the way up to the top of the golden pocket of the 786, pretty much getting rejected there, which is textbook and kind of to be expected, especially with this parabolic run the Nasdaq has been on. But yeah, we've pretty much completed that automatic rally, as I said earlier, and this is really a time to anticipate the finality of the automatic rally with Bitcoin. And you know, here we are. We are now getting back into this smaller micro fib pull, which I have from this swing high of April 14th down to this local low on June 15th. And we're above this golden pocket on that micro pull. That's really what we want to be seeing, and getting a daily close above 30,000 would be really ideal, and in my opinion would be what would be necessary to facilitate a move up into that 0.5 fib. So let me just get back on the rails here and explain how I would really like to see a 0.5 fib test, and the fact that we have the CME gap there at about 34 to 35K, that makes perfect sense to me. Could Bitcoin make it up into the 40K area? Absolutely. That'd be a clean psychological level. And the fact that we're seeing Bitcoin dominance getting above 50% all the way to 51%, you know, this is kind of a time where it's stealing a lot of that liquidity. It's easy to push up, and the big money has always been focused on Bitcoin the most anyways. It's obvious in the volume, it's obvious in the charts, it's obvious in the trend when you look at the cycles year after year, especially compared to alts. So anyways, I don't want to take too much time on this, and the CME gap is of course theoretical, but we do tend to fill these gaps more times than none. And effectively, we are in a position right now where we've had a, 60 days of a sell-off downtrend. And if you look at this horizontal trading range, we're going on 100 straight days of this horizontal trading range. Bitcoin's ready to make a move. And the fact that it's arduously traded to the downside, retesting 24K, which was the top of the resistance zone that we were having trouble breaking, going for about 200 plus days. This was a really classic backtest, and right now it does not shock me that we've had a rebound. So this is something we've been expecting. You know, we've been calm during the process. I know it's not the most fun when we have 100 straight days of trading into a downtrend, but this is how crypto moves. You know, it does have these explosive moves to the upside. Again, anyone who's been following along, this should not be shocking to you. Now, we also have this concept of a bull flag. Perhaps that's going to play out right now. The bull flag would be leading you somewhere into the 40K area, which is right above the 618, bottom of the golden pocket. That's not weird. That's very typical. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this now because it's something that we've been talking about week after week and we've been expecting. This does look really good. Let me turn off all this noise and just get to some of the moving averages and make some final comments. I really do like how we have the 55 simple moving average was rejected back on May 28th into the monthly close. And here we are closing yesterday's daily candle above it, and the response, Bitcoin going up another $1,500, another 5% candle. This is to be expected after you get above a very critical moving average. You can see right here we had a wolf cross with downside implied, and that would be the 8 below the 55. Again, I teach this in my crypto mastermind course. We went on a downtrend, back tested the 200 exponential, beautiful. Now we've popped, made it with daily closes above this 55 simple. Now what I want to see is this 8 simple moving average crossing above the 55 simple. That is a wolf cross with upside implied, and to have a daily close above 29,600 gets you into what I would call a Wyckoff SOS, a sign of strength. Now after a sign of strength, you do typically have a little bit of a back test. Not weird, but the fact that it's the 21st and we have a lot of time till the full moon, this is a really nice setup. The full moon coming in on July 3rd. We're only here on the 21st. And remember, I brought up the 7th of July, specifically for XRP. We could have, a July rally, and that would be very similar or mimicking the 2015 year for Bitcoin. We've been, considering this idea. It doesn't really matter how perfect we are in the timing. Ultimately, what matters most is how we respond to it all. Did people panic sell this recent dip? Did people panic sell this sell-off here on March 10th? Of course. That's not the way a wolf acts, though. That's not how I act. We have no drama. We're not weak hands, none of that stuff. But we're also not being dumb. You have to have your own investment thesis. You got to play it safe. You got to know what you're working with here, have a long-term mindset. And when these sorts of things happen, it's just another day in the matrix for you. So I really like what I'm seeing on this. I think all of these moving averages are going to start to move into a bullish posture very soon on today's daily close. We could probably see this 8 simple begin to cross the 55. That's a textbook setup. So bullish, we've been more on the bullish side. I've been very adamant about how I am not getting bearish until I start to see a structural trend reversal, which would be daily closes below 20K. We never even got close. So this is really nice what we're seeing right now. We're going to let this play out. And I gave you my upside target. It's probably that CME gap somewhere between 34,000, 35. Of course, consider premium. And I wouldn't be shocked if we had a test of 38 to 40K. And this could all happen in the next, 3 to 4 weeks. Now let's go over to Ethereum. Probably not a whole lot to say, but just consider that ETH had a very similar trajectory where we topped out, had a retest of this 200 moving average, 200 simple moving average, which is the same structure as back here on March 10th. That's beautiful to see. And now that we've popped above it, getting a similar kind of energy as well. So we talked about this 55 simple being a key moving average to close a daily above, and that's what we're seeing with ETH. ETH just a little more sluggish along with all the other altcoins, and this is normal because Bitcoin dominance is continuing to make higher highs and continuing to move past 50%. It's not the best case for the alt. So anyways, just to quickly wrap this up, I do like the fact that we could get a daily close for ETH above this 55 simple, but I would really like to see above 1,920. That'd be really nice. 1,920 to 2,000. Be a little bit more confident, but we need Bitcoin to just finish off its rally, and then that liquidity will usually flow into the altcoins. We'll have a little bit of an alt run. And then lights out. I'm very adamant that we will have a lights out moment coming probably into the next Federal Reserve meeting or August. That would be a basic setup. But now let's look at XRP. XRP holding on this 55 simple moving average. Nice. It's very good to see. We held all of our dailies there even after this bigger pullback. Getting into this 50-cent daily closes would be nice, but we know that we still need to wait on a 54 to 55 cent daily close for XRP. Until then, no parties. It's been the same story for a while now. I shared with you that more esoteric decoding concept that I brought up before on the 2-day chart with this cross that came back about 1,000 days ago on this 2-day 55 simple moving average and 200 simple moving average, and how we have that set up for July 7th. So we're just going to let this play out. This is really beautiful to see how we've gotten this in the past. I know this was a little bit more narrative driven, and that's okay, but You know, we are very suppressed in this right now, and there's a lot of drama around this company, Ripple and XRP in general, and the whole ecosystem, and ISO 222, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, especially since they just put a lawsuit on Binance.us and Coinbase. So crypto is under the microscope right now, and this is a really nice setup actually to have a little bit of relief for XRP, and I'm still looking for that 80-cent target sometime this year. Just gotta wait and see how this all goes. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and all of the decoding gnosis. Really appreciate anyone who signed up for the Patreon or who invests in my courses over at watersabove.com. Really means the world to me. I appreciate all of your support. Wishing you a beautiful rest of your solstice. Much love.